Python Nmap scanner. Nmap or Nmap is a very popular open source network scanner. It's designed to scan networks and show you what's there. Well, we want to download and install Nmap. If you're on Windows, you want this one. This guy right here. Now that's Linux. Just a second here. Linux, where's Windows? There it is. If you install this, you get the npcap, plus you get Nmap, which is the command line version. You get the GUI version. Well, we do need the command line version because we're going to use a Python library to, as a wrapper might be what you might call it. We're going to use it as a wrapper to run the Nmap command. So let's take a little bit of a look at our code. First, we have to install python.nmap. You'd bring up your command prompt, run that. You should have the Nmap library installed. Now we're going to create a little program that will scan a network for us using Nmap. I've already installed python-nmap, the wrapper library, and we're going to use python-nmap. Wrapper just means that it allows Python to run that program, so we consider it a wrapper library to use Nmap to scan the network. Well, I start out with a little picture. I've put in the default value for my network at home. You would want to change this to your network address. I put in a very common network address here as an example. When you get to this point, you can either input a network address or local network, which we'll put this in. So either one of these, if you don't put anything in, this is used. If you do put something in, this is not used. And so the user knows something is going on. We're going to say scanning the network. Well, now we have our network. We're going to pass that into our scan function. It'll be, this is what we'll pass, is that string. First thing we have to do is initialize the port scanner of the Nmap library, and we're going to create an nm object. We are just going to do a simple ping scan. There's a bunch of other settings we could use, but we're going to scan these hosts. Nmap automatically breaks that up into 1 through 254. -SN means that we're going to do a ping scan. At this point, our number of hosts is equal to 0. That's going to be a list. So for x in nm, well, nm.scan stores our network IP addresses. We're going to go through all the hosts in that object that contains our network IP addresses, and for each one, we're going to get an address, IPv4. We're going to get the status. We're also going to get the MAC address. If there is not a MAC address, then the MAC vendor equals empty. Or we could just ignore it. So display the host IP address and the MAC address. How many hosts do we have? We're going to print that we have so many hosts. We're going to do our scan statistics, and we're going to say how much time elapsed. So let's run it. And mine is already set to my default network. It's scanning. Usually it takes 2.3 seconds. That was fast. So this one I couldn't get the MAC address from it, so it says none. All the rest of these I got a MAC address from it. And this is pulled from the Nmap MAC address library. So now we could, if we wished, change this. We could add a different argument here. We could create a list of arguments so that we can change how the program runs. What I did instead is I created a GUI version. So there's my GUI version. It's a standard tkinter program. I could put a list in here. of the different types of scans that I want. But you can see there's a lot of stuff in here. The most complicated part is creating the tree view. So getting an input, clicking a button, not a big deal. Doing this, yeah, that requires a little more work. Let's go back to the beginning of this guy. We're creating our widgets. We're creating our window. There we go to creating widgets. That's our standard entry. I created a couple frames. I have an entry for typing in the address. I put in my default address in this so I don't have to keep typing it in every time. There are some labels for displaying things. If I press either enter key, it's going to do the scan method. And then I gridded all my stuff. Well, the next thing is create the tree view. Look at all that. I put it in the display frame. I made it a height of 20. You can make this go higher or lower. There's the names of my columns. There's my style. I'm showing the headings. I can browse. Yep, you can see here we have to set up columns. We have to set up headings. We have to grid the tree. If you want a scroll bar, you have to configure that. So yes, that takes a little bit of work. But when we run it and we do ping, now I didn't put this on a thread and I probably should have, but it comes back pretty quickly. We have the same information, but it looks like we have 14. I think we had 12 before. But we have a little list. We can sort things out. It's automatically sorted by IP address. We could sort it by MAC address. This is just showing that it's up. Here's our different vendors. So it's kind of a fun little quick program. There is how to scan Nmap. What you might do, you could put in a little list box here where you could choose different types of scans. I've never gone any further with this. You certainly are welcome to. If I press the enter key, it scans, and this time I have 12. I'm not sure why I have 12 that time and I had 14 before. Let's run it again. Now it's 13. Well, so that the program doesn't stop responding, I should have probably run the scan in a separate thread. You can do that if you wish. There's all kinds of places you can go with this program. We will see you later.